All set for Black Stars and the Super Eagles tango for a World Cup berth.
President Akufo-Addo to deliver State of the Nation address on March 30th, 2022.
Technology to boost the work of agricultural extension service providers.
Rebel forces fighting in northern Ethiopia agreed to humanitarian truce for aid deliveries to millions of people.
Good evening. Welcome to News Hour Live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. My name is Micheline Taka.
I am Rahmatu Mahmoud Jawando with Robert Frimpong Manso to do the sign language.
Today we start off with sports and Theophilus Sampa is standing by.
Thank you very much, Micheline. And remember that we are being partnered by Shield Paint for Mazar since 1921. Now we turn attention to the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, where in some few minutes the Black Stars will be in action against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And at the legislature earlier on, MPs are rallying support for the Black Stars ahead of this very crunch encounter. I'll bring you some sights and sounds from Parliament.
To make this statement, for us to rally support, and we members of Parliament rallying behind the Black Stars as they face the Super Eagles in Kumasi this evening at 7:30 p.m. We wish them well, and we wish that they will make the country Ghana proud. We are very convinced and sure that the qualifier that we seek to Qatar this year, this match will determine that.
The truth of the matter is that matches between Ghana and Nigeria sometimes defy the form guide. It's basically the most determined and the most angry players of the two teams who win this game. Sometimes it's not about the players, it's not about the coach. It's about how angrier that particular country is. Evidence of our past encounters have shown that most of the time, the team that has much more quality becomes complacent and loses.
This is not a long talk. All we want from the Black Stars is they should go and score. And all we want from Ghanaians is they should support the Black Stars. We will bring back the love for the Black Stars and we will support them with prayers. We don't want to hear they can play, they can, they are skillful, they are this, they are that. No. All that we want to hear, if they have scored 4-0 against Nigeria, for us to be happy and jubilate so that those who eat can eat well, those who drink can drink well.
We should all rally behind the players. The fans in Kumasi want to appeal to them. Even if the going is tough for the Stars, they should continue to support them and back them. They should continue to praise them. They should continue to rally behind them. The match is won in 90 minutes. And not in 30 minutes or 1 hour or just less than that. The match is won in 90 minutes. And until the 90 minutes are over, anything is possible.
The Minister for Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, is encouraging the Black Stars to put up a fighting spirit for the entire duration of the game tonight with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Mr. Yusuf described the Stars as warriors who must lead the country to the World Cup.
We have 30 million population in our beautiful country called Ghana. And this 30 million, the Commander-in-Chief of our Ghana Armed Forces is His Excellency the President of the Republic. The only army that we can use to qualify to World Cup out of the 30 million are you guys. And every action that's happening on the field, every single home in Ghana, the impact is going to be felt. And I can see as I stand here, looking into your faces, Amate, Thomas Partey, Fatao, and my brother, all of you, I can see that there is something, you are hungry to go there. All of you are just yearning. And I have no doubt that you have worked so hard. You have worked so hard for this qualification started a long time ago. You have delivered. There are other countries that has fallen, but you have risen. You have raised the occasion on several occasions when you are most needed. You have delivered, and I have no doubt at all that tomorrow you are going to deliver. I also want to add that our king, Otumfuo Osetutu, is behind you. And he said I should tell you that on his land in Kumasi, there is no single day that our blasters has fallen here. And he's not going to start with you. So as you go onto the pitch, you should know that the entire country and there's both religious, but all the religious bodies, the traditional authorities, the government.
We have online Shanti Regional Correspondent Nicholas Oseiwisu in the Garden City to share their euphoria surrounding the first leg of the Ghana versus Nigeria World Cup playoffs at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Nicholas, in less than 15 minutes, the starting whistle for the Ghana-Nigeria game will sound. What is the atmosphere in and around the Baba Yara Sports Stadium now?
Yeah, so I would say I'm not reporting from inside the stadium, but from around the stadium to where also a number of actions are taking place because we still have quite a number of people or supporters and enthusiastic of them yearning to get access into the stadium. But from the links I have within the stadium and the information I'm gathering, the park is almost, the stadium is almost full to capacity, and the people out from outside, people are still commuting from various parts of the region. Either they are on walking by foot or they are in various means of transport, still trooping to the premises of the the city of the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, trying to have access to the stadium to know what is happening. But I must also emphasize the fact that security is still very tight. There's no way anything or anybody could get away with anything illegal because the security in and around the stadium has been very tight from yesterday. And so, as I indicated in the afternoon, there is no entry to the stadium by any means apart from you have official permission, whether by sticker or whatever, officially, that your vehicle will be allowed to get in closer to any of the entrances of the stadium. But apart from that, it's only official vehicles, either from the security services or from the National Ambulance Service or from government officials, which are being allowed into the stadium. So for now, yes, I would say that even though the park, I'm told, is almost getting to full capacity, but we still have a lot of people very enthusiastic and yearning to enter the stadium themselves. I mean, the problem is got to do, the difficulty that has been created is got to do with the application of electronics. So that's the e-ticketing. people are claiming to have acquired their tickets by online, but getting verified at the entrance or the gate before they can get access to the stadium itself to witness whatever is likely to take place. That has also become a problem. But officials have told us that they are working around the clock, just as some people have managed to get inside the stadium. They are working around the clock to ensure that anybody who procured the tickets by electronic it's not denied access to the stadium. So they are working around the clock to ensure that everything gets smoothly. By the start of the match, everybody is supposed to get access to the stadium.
Very much, Nicholas, and please stay tuned with us because any latest updates we will be calling on you. Remember, the game is live here on GTV Sports Plus, Ubonu TV, and Garden City TV, and on radio commentary. Unique FM will be having the commentary and we'll share with all GBC regional FM stations. Until very, very soon, in some few minutes, 7:30 exactly, the road to Qatar 2022 starts for Ghana, and it is a must-win for the Black Stars, and they've promised to deliver. And so rally around your flag, get your flag somewhere, be proud to be a Ghanaian. And now that's all for sports. Remember, we're partnered by Shield Paint from Azar since 1921. The news continues after this break.
From here, we wish the Black Stars the best of luck.
Now, the local stories. President Akufo-Addo is set to deliver the State of the Nation address in Parliament on Wednesday, March 30, 2022. This was announced on the floor of Parliament on Friday by Mr. Frank Anodompre, the Majority Chief Whip.
The president was scheduled to appear before the House 3 weeks ago, but that was constitutional obligation was postponed indefinitely. The Majority Chief Whip, presenting the business statement for next week, also disclosed that security ministers will brief members on the security situation in Boko following the renewed tensions there.
Speaker, His Excellency the President of the Republic is scheduled to deliver a message on the state of the nation on Wednesday, 30th March 2022, in accordance with Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution. Speaker, pursuant to the convention of the House, honourable members are urged to be punctual and accordingly be seated in the chamber latest by 9:15. Speaker, pursuant to your directive on Thursday, 17th March 2022, inviting the Honourable Minister for the Interior, Defence and National Security to apprise the House on the renewed clashes between disputants to the Boko conflict. The Business Committee has accordingly scheduled the affected ministers to attend upon the House on Tuesday, 29th March 2022, to brief honourable members on the matter at the Committee of the Whole. Speaker, briefing by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. As indicated last week Friday, the Business Committee will, during the course of the week, schedule the Honourable Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources to attend upon the House to update the country on the ongoing fight against illegal mining, also known as Galamsey.
It is time to discover new ways to use technology to reach out to medical students across the country so they don't always have to come to Accra to study, says President Akufo-Addo. The president said adopting virtual reality to train medical professionals will not only allow room for innovation, but also increase access to many students who hitherto have been denied the opportunity to follow their passion to study medicine. President Akufo-Addo said this at the commemoration of the University of Ghana Medical School's 60th anniversary at Legon in Accra. Edward Nyako reports.
Medical doctors belong to the category of professionals in Ghana who after school do not worry about employment. This is because they are always in high demand but short in supply. This has always led to a brain drain, with most of the medical doctors training in Ghana leaving the shores of the country. As of 2020, the overall density of medical doctors in Ghana stood at 1.4 per 10,000 inhabitants. However, the former Deputy Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO, Dr. Anefi Asamoah, who was at the 60th anniversary of the University of Ghana Medical School at Legon in Accra, attributed the departure of some medical doctors abroad to economic challenges. His advice for the Ministry of Health:
one of the main criticisms against the school is the scope. The school trains you in medicine and trains you to become a medical practitioner. So the focus of the school is largely on sickness care. And yet, as soon as you pass out, you are expected to be a health professional. And we all know health is broader than medicine. You are expected not to be just a team player, but in many cases, a team leader. You are expected to manage money. You are expected to manage people. Unfortunately, you are not trained on these issues while you are at school. So what happens is that we convert excellent clinicians into mediocre managers.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Abba Ampea Amfo, appealed to government to expand infrastructure at the medical school to expand access to students and attract more faculty. President Akufo-Addo praised management of the medical school over the years for producing students to occupy important positions across the world and lifting high the flag of the country. He was concerned, though, about a report of some medical doctors refusing to accept postings to the country's hinterlands.
I encourage all medical practitioners to follow the worthy example of your great forebears, like Dr. Charles Eastman, Dr. Evans Zamfon, and their likes, who readily accepted postings in their early years at a time when the national infrastructure was even more harrowing than it is today. They did so because they believed that the Hippocratic oath they took imposed a duty on them to offer their services, especially to the most needy.
The President touched on the use of technology to expand access to more students who want to pursue medicine.
Virtual reality is increasingly becoming popular in the training of medical professionals because it allows for medical professional skills education, assessment, standardization, and knowledge sharing for better healthcare infrastructure. Virtual reality, in addition to other digital transformation products, provides the space for the innovative ideas we need to adopt in the training of our medical students.
And to ease pressure on students who commute between Legon campus and Kolebu Teaching Hospital for their studies, President Akufo-Addo donated a 51-seater bus to University of Ghana Medical School. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
President Akufo-Addo says the Agenda 111 project will be completed before he leaves office in 2024 at a cost of $1.7 billion. The Agenda 111 is a flagship program of the government to build government priority health infrastructure across the country to expand access to quality health care to all and make Ghana a medical tourism hub in West Africa.
To improving our healthcare delivery system is evident in the Agenda 111 initiative. This project will provide 101 standard 100-bed district hospitals with accommodation for doctors and nurses in districts without district hospitals, 6 new regional hospitals for each of the 6 new regions, rehabilitate the Afia and Kwanta Hospital in the Western region, 1 new regional hospital for the Western region, and 3 psychiatric hospitals for each of the 3 zones of the country, that is the North, Middle, and Coastal. And the entire package at an estimated cost of $1.765 billion United States dollars. Such a development will help make Ghana a center of medical excellence and a preferred destination for medical tourism in West Africa.
The ECOWAS Court of Justice has dismissed a suit by a Senegalese man, Mr. Leyti Diop, who alleged discrimination against him by his country for lack of proof in an action he cited at a national court. Mr. Diop claimed he was discriminated against based on his physical disability. The applicant is the manager of Société Générale Emballage SSE, a company which entered a contract with agencies des Aéroports du Sénégal to operate luggage parking services in the check-in hall of Leopold Sédar Senghor International Airport in September 2010.
And Mr. Leyti Diop claimed that the agreement between the two was terminated after Société Sénégale Emballage failed to move from the leased area of the airport on the request of Agence des Aéroports du Sénégal. It was his case that he was singled out from all other concessionaries to move to another location due to his physical disability. He contended that when he failed to relocate within the premises, the contract was terminated and access to the employees was restricted. He therefore claimed that the termination of the contract was discriminatory as it was based on his physical disability and wanted the court to order the immediate cessation of the violation of his rights and reinstatement as manager of Senegal Emballage under a penalty of 10,000 CFA each day for delay. He also prayed for additional compensation of 500 million CFA. Senegal, however, submitted that a written request of relocation was given to the applicant to move to the freight area, which was refused. Based on that, the agreement was terminated on grounds of public interest and the need to establish an integrated command post. It said the applicant sued ADS at the National Court and was awarded compensation of 5 million francs for breach of contract. The respondent contended that the applicant failed to prove his case of discrimination against him and was only seeking a variation of the decision of the National Court, which is against the jurisprudence of the ECOWAS Court of Justice. The court, in the end, dismissed all claims by the applicant for lack of proof and ordered both parties to bear their own costs.
Ghana's drive to use technology to enhance productivity has been extended to the domain of agricultural extension service providers. Now, extension officers can sit in the comfort of their offices to provide extension services in the form of video, radio and telephony to farmers across the country. And to kickstart the launch of the E-Extension Strategic Plan in Accra, a Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Alhaji Mohammed Hadi Tuferu, says government will continue to support farmers to ensure food security.
ICT has been used for agricultural extension in Ghana for about a decade. However, the combination of various communication tools, including radio, mobile telephony and video to provide e-extension services is expected to reduce not only cost but also make extension services effective. At a ceremony to launch the e-extension strategic plan, a Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Alhaji Mohammed Hadi Tufiru, said the digital agricultural extension services will help serve farmers and disseminate information timely.
The important things that we need to capture all has been captured. The government is in full support. We will do whatever it will take to support in whatever measures and directions so that together we are able to improve productivity on our farms, help the farmers improve income.
A consultant for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Pascal Attendum, said the e-extension strategy is aimed at covering 90% of small-scale farmers in Ghana by 2030.
We've put together a strategy which is called the e-extension strategy and plan, which will now be the main plan which will guide extension services in Ghana. The strategy is to set up regional hubs and possibly district hubs where content for agricultural value chain users, farmers, processors, input suppliers, and marketers will be developed, which fits into the requirement of the regional level and then probably the district level.
The e-extension service will be provided in local languages to ensure that no farmer is left behind.
A steel bridge linking Navio and Mayoro in Sirugu in the Kasana and Kana West districts in the Upper East region has collapsed with a trailer on it at the time of the accident. It is believed that the trailer with registration number AW889412 was crossing from Sirugu to Navio through the Paga.
According to some residents in the area, the incident happened between 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. on Wednesday. The trailer was carrying chopped wood suspected to be rosewood. The suspected rosewood cargo is believed to have increased its weight and weakened the narrow steel bridge, leading its collapse as it made its way across. The residents say the collapsed bridge means that workers, farmers and business partners would be cut off from accessing Paga or Bogatanga markets, especially when the rains set in.
It's very scary passing on this bridge because whenever it rains, the water becomes very plenty, and at times when you are crossing too, you are very afraid.
Now that the bridge collapsed this way, it means it's going to affect workers. We don't even talk of the rainy season that is coming.
The assembly member for the Navio electoral area, Mr. Roland Apogido, is concerned about the situation and says it would be worse off for commuters on that road when the rainy season starts. He mentioned that the bridge already had developed some cracks and needed some maintenance work. He said several calls at the district assembly for its rehabilitation has not yielded any positive results.
I followed it up with the district chief executive. Even 2021, we had to organize our people, the chief and the opinion leaders in the community. We organized ourselves. And when you go there, you saw that we did some communal labor there.
The driver of the trailer and his 2 passengers sustained some injuries but have been treated and discharged from the Paga District Hospital.
A series of projects aimed at making Achimota School an ICT Center of Excellence have been executed by the 1997-year group. The 1997-year-old Achimota Association group handed over the sustainability and equipment plan to their alma mater as their legacy project to commemorate their 25 years of leaving the school.
The projects include the installation of internet connectivity infrastructure in the school, acquisition of Google Workspace for Education platform to enable online interaction between students and teachers, and the training and development of the capacity of teachers to use these platforms to enhance teaching and learning in the school. The aim of the project is to revolutionize teaching and learning in the school and the country as a whole. According to the president of the year group, Akora, Dr. Papani Maale Adesi, he is happy that the dream project has become a reality. He had a word for old students.
We intend to commit to support this and maintain this for the next 2 years, but we're looking and calling on all the other alumni within the group to also help us support and carry this.
The headmistress of the school expressed her gratitude to the 1997 year group for the legacy, especially during the COVID period.
This is very timely. Google Classroom is all that we need now.
The over 200 teachers and more than 4,000 students now have the opportunity to access the Google Classroom via achimota.edu.gh.
The 2-week funeral rites of the High Priest of the Teshi Traditional Council, Nomo Ajay Kwanko, is underway at the Teshi Salem Square in Accra. Per the customs and traditions of Teshi, the Osabu Aiku Wulomo, which is the shrine named Shiche Odoma, has been kept consecrated at the Teshi Salem Square.
The week-long ritual continued today with the killing of animals from both the deceased's traditional family and the family of his wife in accordance with customs. Slaughtering of the animals was meant to purify the area and also serve as a source of food to unify all traditional heads and family members ahead of the day of the main funeral. Numu Ajay Kwanko II served on the Teshi Traditional Council from 1976 to 2019. He served as Manche and Mankralo before he was installed as Wulomo of the Teshi Traditional Council. As part of his duties during his tenure, he officiated public worship, calculated dates for the Homowo festival, offered libation to the gods, and interpreted the will of the gods to the people. According to the organizers of the funeral, from midnight today, March 25, some traditional rites will be performed, and by tradition, no child is to be found outside during those hours. In addition, there will be rituals to be performed by the various clan heads from the Ga community. Numu Ajay will be laid in state on the 26th of March 2022 from 10 a.m. at the Teshi Salem Square.
You're watching News Hour here on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We're also live on Ghana Television. We're streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Up next is business.
Hello, this is Business brought to you by Quick Credit and MTN. My name is Esther Edu Ohumeu. One of the measures listed by the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, to put the economy back on track is a reduction of margins in the petroleum price build-up by 15 pesos. However, in an earlier interview, a research analyst at the Institute of Energy Security, Mr. Fritz Moses, said the 15 pesos reduction is not enough to cushion Ghanaians from the fuel price hikes.
I believe that the 15% reduction is woefully inadequate in the sense that you look at the price order and the government taxes on it, it's about 40 pesos. And so if in just this case, prices have risen by 59%, adding about 40 to the price of diesel and 50 pesos to the price of petrol, you would expect the government would actually do more than 15 pesos. We're even looking at the government doing about 1 cedi reduction on these taxes in order to bring down prices significantly for Ghanaians and consumers to actually show the impact. But the 15% reduction will not go very long. The reason behind it was to pushing consumers, but 15% reduction would do very little. I mean, we saw how when government in November 2021 removed or suspended the price of a levy of 16%. In the same window, we saw prices rise up, adding about 10% per litre on petrol and diesel. The fact is the government hasn't done enough to reduce that increment that came in. So we may certainly see a negotiation on the part of transport union operators to also increase their transportation price again.
Still on that, among the measures enumerated by the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, is the no duty, no exit policy at the MPS port at Tema to improve revenue collection. Speaking to the Chief Executive of GITFIC, Mr. Selassie Akom, earlier, he mentioned that the policy is to ensure that all duties on goods are paid before they leave the port of Tema.
Basically, issues that would maximize profit, rake in more profit for the state, is what any country across the world, including Ghana, looks for. And so when the finance minister had made those comments yesterday, when we all listened to him, it is an existing saying by GRA and every port operator, every stakeholder within the port system that goes like, you would have to pay exactly the commodity, the amount on the commodity you brought to the shores of Ghana through the Tema port. And if you do not pay, your goods will not get it. It's as simple as that.
Away from that, traders at the Paga port border in the Katsina-Nangana district in the Upper East region are calling on government to reopen the land borders. They complain that the closure of the borders is causing a huge dent in their business and livelihoods.
Paga border is an entry point for Ghanaians into Burkina Faso at the northeast point. For residents here, life has been in limbo for the past 2 years since the authorities sealed off the border to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. But the measure has also crippled thriving trade and exchanges with neighboring Burkina Faso. The Paga border is noted for its trade in tomatoes, onions and fish, but the closure of the land borders has affected these economic activities. Some residents spoke to GBC News on government's intended opening of the land borders.
We are begging our president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to open the borders fast for us so that we can take care of our children.
We are pleading that the government should also have mercy on us and open the border so that we can also get enough sales so that the government can also get more revenue to develop the country for us.
We cannot live without the other ECOWAS countries because they have foodstuffs. They also have foodstuffs. We exchange each other. We have manufactured goods. We have to send them to other countries.
Some traders have also called on the government to do something about the depreciating local currency and the hikes in fuel prices. They say while government plans to open the borders, it should also put measures in place to cushion their living conditions. No trading activity has taken place between Ghana and Burkina Faso since the closure of the borders. The people have called on the president to support them with soft loans to revive their businesses.
Let's have the interbank and commodity figures for the day.
The energy segment on News Hour. My name is Mabel Anang. Energy analysts say the 15 pesos reduction in fuel prices is paltry. They believe government can do more to cushion consumers. Bost margin has been reduced by 2 pesos per litre. Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund margin by 9 pesos per litre. Fuel marking margin decreased by 1 peso per litre. And primary distribution margin reduced by 3 pesos per litre. The reductions, according to the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, will lead to a 1.6% reduction in petrol price and diesel by 1.4%. Speaking to GBC News, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana said the reduction is insufficient to make any impact at the pumps.
If you look at what the consumer pays at the pump and juxtapose that with this kind of reduction as against the factors that are keeping the prices where they are, one can only, say that the 15 pesos is just a scratch on the back, because it's not going to make that much impact. We commend government for that. It's a good start, but we urge that we can still look at some of the taxes that are there, and I think the credible candidate could be the SPT.
A research analyst with the Institute for Energy Security, IAS, Mr. Fritz Moses, said it's unfortunate there was no reduction on LPG prices.
We feel that government has been trumpeting the notion of Ghana relying on the use of LPG for domestic purposes and drawing away from biofuels and charcoals and all. But we don't see efforts by government itself to make it appealing for Ghanaians to consider LPG. And the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, says the 15 pesos reduction in petrol and diesel, as announced by the Finance Minister, is not enough. The Upper East Wing of the GPRTU said it will increase transport fares by 15% in the weeks ahead if the government fails to honor their demand of the removal of some taxes on petroleum products. The senior regional Industrial Relations Officer of the union, Alhaji Nuhu Mahama, was speaking to GBC News Upper West Regional Correspondent Swala Abdul Wahab at Wa.
GPRTU says if by Monday government fails to address their grievances, they will increase transport fares by 15%.
It's woeful inadequate. This was not what the GPRTU was expecting from the Finance Minister. We asked him to remove some levies. They haven't done it, and still they are taking the stabilization fund and other levies which are not necessary. So this 15% is disappointing to the GPRTU.
Passengers and business operators say if GPRTU increases transport fares by 15% within 2 months, the situation will become so unbearable.
If they increase fare again, it will affect us in a way because the lorry fare from here to there will increase and the goods we will be bringing to the town here will also increase.
Some tricycle operators told GBC News that the situation is becoming helpless and hopeless. They therefore called on the government to intervene immediately to save their businesses from collapsing. For GBC News, Swala Abdul Wahab. Wow.
To some more news, current records of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority show that out of the 2.8 million vehicles registered in 2021, 72% were powered by petrol, 27% by diesel, and 1% by LPG and other forms of energy. The high dependency on fossil fuels makes the transport sector a net emitter of greenhouse gases. This came up at a regional stakeholders forum on Ghana's energy transition plan in Techiman, the Bono East regional capital.
The Regional Consultative Forum was on the theme, Moving Ghana Forward Towards a Net Zero Future. In his welcome address, the Bono East Regional Minister, Mr. Kwesi Edujan, said the effects of global warming primarily caused by emissions of greenhouse gases through the use of fossil fuels, are becoming increasingly evident, with the cost to humanity being increasingly prohibitive. The Deputy Minister for Transport, Mr. Frederick Obeng Adong, said shifting to cleaner energy in the next few years required substantial resources. He spoke about the effects that the use of different means of transport has on the environment.
Feasibility studies for the introduction of metro and then light rail transit system have been completed for Kumasi and Accra.
The Deputy Minister for Energy, Mr. William Orueku Eidu, said steps ought to be taken to hold the nation in readiness for the fast-changing trends in the global energy space.
Public dialogue and stakeholder engagement like this will enable us Ghana's public support, incorporate local perspectives, and receive innovative ideas to formulate a transition plan that is sustainable, locally appropriate, and feasible to implement.
There is an urgent call to review laws governing the management and use of Ghana's petroleum revenues at a public lecture on outcomes of a research conducted by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, and energy economist and political risk analyst, Dr. Theophilus Echampo, called for the new approaches to sustain the country's oil production.
The Ghana Petroleum Fund is meant to channel excess petroleum revenue into financial instruments for sustaining public expenditure capacity during periods of unanticipated petroleum revenue shortfalls. It also serves as an endowment to support the development for future generations. The fund comprises the Ghana Stabilization Fund and the Ghana Heritage Fund. In an assessment of the management and use of petroleum reserves for the last 10 years, an economist, Dr. Theophilus Echampo, disclosed that these petroleum funds are not yielding the needed results.
Keep the Heritage Fund as is, but let's change the quality of the investment instrument so that we can get better returns on it.
At a public lecture organized by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, Dr. Echampo said that year-on-year inflows, especially with the Stabilization Fund, over 75% of the withdrawals have been used for debt repayment over the years.
We take some of the Heritage Fund amount to support, give, things like that. But you have to ring fence it from all the issues therein. But it shouldn't be that we scrap the Heritage Fund entirely.
An economist with the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, GNPC, Dr. Kwame Banuakon, described as unfortunate criticisms on GNPC's corporate social investments. He said these interventions rather saves the country lots of funds.
Risk analysis are based on some of these publications. So the country risk, the corporation's risk in terms of ability to borrow and all those things depends on some of these publications. And in some cases, the Finance Committee had found merit in GNPC's position.
The lecture comes at a time when the country has seen an astronomical hike in prices of fuel products.
Health news is next.
Brought to you by kind courtesy of Lufat. Ghana fell short to the WHO target of detecting 40,000 suspected cases of tuberculosis in the year under review. A deficit of about 27,000 cases remain undetected across the country. When the Orum Institute joined the Shai Osudoku Hospital to reach out to residents, the call for more investment was made to sustain TB prevention efforts. A report by Sarah Furi.
Many people are said to have latent tuberculosis, meaning they carry the TB bacterium yet are not contagious. until they come into contact with an active TB person. TB mostly affects the lungs, but it can also affect other organs of the body, such as the intestine, liver, kidneys, the womb, among others. The intention of the outreach was to raise public awareness about the burden TB imposes on patients and the need to invest in TB diagnostic tools such as gene experts, research, preventive therapy, and advocacy against stigma. There are currently 143 gene expert testing facilities in the country, including the Shai Osudoku Hospital. The hospital serves close to 70,000 residents. Of a target of 50 new cases, the hospital recorded 45 in the year under review. Ghana is one of 11 countries targeted with the short-course TB preventive therapies, which combines the use of 2 antibiotics and taken once a week for 12 weeks. Patients at the outpatient department were given extensive education on tuberculosis and were asked to avail themselves for screening. The medical superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Kennedy Brightstein, called for an end to the stigmatization of persons diagnosed of TB.
There's no need to be ashamed that you have TB, so you would hide in your room, you would hide at home, and you would not come out for treatment. It is the hiding rather that will kill you. Nobody is protected from catching TB. As long as you walk around and you interact with people, those who have TB and are coughing around you and are not going for treatment, when they cough, you breathe in what comes out of them, and then you are likely to get a TB.
The Aurum Institute has closely collaborated with the National TB and AIDS Control Programs to mitigate the burden of the disease. It has also played leading roles in TB prevention. It appealed to government and donors to increase the financial commitment to combat TB in the country.
Ghana was able to find a little over 13,000 cases, so there's a huge gap. Out of these also, we are supposed to be finding about 4,000 children affected with TB, but we did only around not up to even a quarter of that. The effort in finding the missing cases in Ghana is such a huge problem.
3,000 pieces of sputum containers were donated to the hospital by the Aurum Institute. Cyril Furi, GBC News, Dodowa.
Government says it is procuring enough Gen Expert cartridges to enable the accurate testing and diagnosis of suspected tuberculosis cases in the country. The procurement will be made through government's counterpart funding of the Global Fund. As part of its commitment, about 150 district hospitals will be equipped with digital X-rays and artificial intelligence for diagnosing tuberculosis. Those were made known by the Deputy Minister for Health, Mr. Mahama Asay Seni, at the launch of the World TB Day in Accra on Thursday.
TB remains a threat in the country. It is reported that over 15,000 diagnosed TB patients die yearly. Government has therefore made it a priority to invest to ensure access to essential TB services, including diagnostic tools for both children and adults. It is also investing in appropriate TB treatment and prevention services to needy people. Again, investing to reduce stigma and discrimination against TB and TB research to bring out innovations in TB care.
All close contacts of TB persons and patients and people living with HIV who test negative for TB should be given TB preventive treatment to prevent them from developing TB diseases.
The program's manager for the National TB Control Program, Dr. Yawedusi Poku, said TB is similar to coronavirus.
That's why we are coming with what the strategy called bidirectional testing for COVID-19 and TB. Of the 206 patients that were suspected of having COVID-19, we also tested for tuberculosis. And the results were that 13% of them were TB patients and 9% were COVID.
The WHO country representative for Ghana, Dr. Francis Kasolo, urged stakeholders to work more closely with communities to leverage on local knowledge for maximum impact. In September 2018, Ghana joined the United Nations member states to sign on to the UN high-level meeting target. Ghana is expected to identify over 40,000 tuberculosis cases yearly. With access to medication, TB patients can now enjoy free medical care using their NHIS cards. The theme for this year's celebration is Invest to End TB, Save Lives.
That's all in this segment. Up next is international news.